In the empty swimming pool, I lay on the bench, my body twisted into all sorts of positions by a strong man. This intense feeling, something I'd never experienced before, made my body tense up, my back arching and trembling before suddenly falling back down. Just before I lost consciousness, I silently thought to myself, "I'm sorry, honey. My name is Joan and I'm a newlywed." Thinking back, the first time I even came close to cheating was because of my husband. A while ago, my husband got hooked on a game and he was playing as a female character, often pretending to be a girl to get better equipment from a local big shot. Then one day, that guy suddenly asked for a video call to prove it was really him before continuing to give the equipment. That's when I found out my husband had been using my photos to catfish him. To avoid getting caught, my husband begged me to join the video call with him. At first I refused, but he just kept insisting until I reluctantly agreed. When the video call connected, I was shocked. The guy my husband had been playing with turned out to be a strong, young, handsome man, lying shirtless on his bed, his six-pack abs barely visible. As soon as he saw me, he suddenly sat up straight, bracing his arms against the bed, making his biceps even more noticeable. It was the first time I'd seen such a muscular man, especially when he casually pointed the camera at his abs and kept calling me baby, which made me feel a bit shy. I couldn't even look him in the eye. The man stared at me for a while, then complimented my looks before suddenly asking, "I've got better gear. Do you want it?" Without thinking, I asked, "What gear?" The man then mentioned a term I didn't understand. Before I could respond, my husband, from behind the phone, gave me a longing look and kept signaling me with his hands to agree. But this time the man set a condition. He told me to lift my nightgown and show him, or he wouldn't give the gear. I was both embarrassed and angry, ready to refuse on the spot. But my husband made a pleading gesture and silently mouthed, "Just to look at your body, it's fine." That made me furious. This was a stranger. He was playing a game and now he was selling out his own wife. In a fit of rage, I lost control and just yanked up my entire nightgown. But when people act on impulse, they often do stupid things. I completely forgot that I had just been with my husband, and that there was nothing under my nightgown. The man whistled excitedly and said, "Baby, your body is amazing." My husband didn't seem to want me to put the nightgown down. Instead, he stared intently at the back of the phone, looking worried that the man might change his mind and not give him the gear. Seeing him like that made me even angrier. I wanted to get back at him, so I forced myself to endure the embarrassment and let the man enjoy the view before finally putting the skirt back down. Honestly, I did feel a bit of excitement inside, but when the man shifted the camera to that part of his body, I was so shocked I immediately closed the video. When I put my phone down, my husband seemed a little excited, not sure if it was because he finally got the gear he'd been obsessing over or something else. He immediately pounced on me and pushed me onto the bed. That day was the first time my husband managed to do it a second time in a short period. But for some reason, I couldn't stop thinking about that guy's sharp abs, which were 100 times more tempting than my husband's beer belly. The next day, when my husband wasn't home, I lay in bed to watch some shows when my phone suddenly rang. It was that man again sending me a video request. That's when I realized I had forgotten to block him. I clicked reject and was about to block him when I noticed he had sent a bunch of photos. Selfies focusing on his body, mixed in with a few videos of him with different beautiful women. Looking at those women, all drenched in passion, my mind started to wander. This guy must be really strong. I thought, if only that woman were me. I haven't felt completely taken over in so long. For some strange reason, I didn't block him after all. He didn't try to call me again, but every night he'd send me more of those embarrassing photos. So I started secretly looking at the photos and videos he sent after my husband fell asleep. I felt like I must have gone crazy, like some shameless, bad woman, longing to be conquered by a strong man, fantasizing about him every day as I stared at his photos. From the pleas of those women, I learned his name, Fred. I thought as long as we were like two parallel lines, we'd never cross paths. But I never expected that day to come so soon. At that time, I had just learned how to swim and I was at my peak craving, but the usual swimming pool I went to had just been renovated, so I had no choice but to switch to another one. It was already late when I went and I was the only one in the pool. I hesitated for a moment, put on my new white bikini thinking, why not dress sexier? There's no one else around. After I got into the water, I was swimming around happily when I suddenly saw a young, handsome guy walk out of the locker room. The man was tall and muscular, easily over 6 feet tall, with bronzed skin and defined muscles. exuding so much masculinity that it felt like it might explode. I couldn't help but glance at him, and to my shock, it was Fred. This discovery made me panic a little. Caught off guard, I forgot how to swim and kept choking on the water. I struggled desperately in the pool until someone pulled me up. When I looked at his face, I realized it was Fred who had saved me. After Fred pulled me out of the pool, he bent down and was about to give me mouth-to-mouth. I quickly pushed him away, covering my slightly flushed face. "Beautiful, your swimming technique is wrong." Fred didn't seem to recognize me. Instead, he seriously pointed out that my swimming form was off. Wrong? No way. Where did I go wrong? As I looked at his perfect V-line, I quickly lowered my head, trying to control the stirring feelings inside me, but I couldn't help noticing what was stirring in his swim trunks. "Here, let me teach you." Fred took me back into the pool, asking me to hold on to the poolside with my hands and placing his hand on my lower abdomen to correct my form. I obediently followed his instructions. At first, I still wasn't kicking properly, but after Fred's patient guidance, I got better with each try. Seeing the improvement, I got more and more excited. But I noticed that when my kicking was correct, my body would be pushed forward by the reaction force. Even though I was holding on to the edge of the pool, I still couldn't stop from moving a little. And with that, Fred's hand on my lower abdomen naturally slid downward, occasionally brushing against a very sensitive spot. That hand was so hot, sending shivers through me, and my heart started racing faster and faster, my mind flooded with images from his videos. He was doing this on purpose. My body trembled involuntarily. What did he want? Should I resist? While I was lost in thought, Fred suddenly lightly flicked me with his finger. Caught off guard, my whole body went weak, and I was so startled that I lost my balance, struggling aimlessly and almost choking on the water. In that crucial moment, he lifted me up again, and I clung to him like a koala. The moment my legs wrapped around his body, I realized my heart was pounding so hard, my mind completely scrambled. In the midst of the shock and panic, I lost the ability to think.